From the refined elegance of finished wood to the raw power of nature's giants, this journey embodies industrial mastery. The worker secures the heavy chains from the forklift to the massive log, preparing it for transport. The forklift drags the immense log from the container. Its immense weight scrapes violently along the metal floor before dropping heavily onto the concrete. The forklift effortlessly maneuvers the giant log across the yard, lifting it high. A skilled operator retrieves a massive log from the yard, carrying the heavy timber into the sawmill. The massive log is lowered onto the carriage. Workers step forward to engage the hydraulic clamps, securing the timber for processing. The laser guides the log into perfect alignment, ensuring a precise first cut. The massive bandsaw blade begins to spin. Rapidly accelerating mist is sprayed directly onto the blade's sharp teeth. The automated carriage drives the giant log into the spinning blade, erupting a violent shower of sawdust as it slices through the timber. Drops away, a striking contrast between the dark bark and the blonde wood. The carriage rapidly reverses to its starting position. Hydraulic arms then push the log precisely 3 inches to the blade line. The carriage feeds the log into the blade, slicing a uniform slab and generating a heavy flow of sawdust. With precise control, the workers tip the massive slab, which falls with immense force onto the conveyor. This massive wood slab, fresh from the saw, begins its automated journey through the factory toward the drying and flattening zones. The raw slab arrives for cross-cutting, where the operator's precision trims the uneven ends, squaring the edges as sawdust flies. The slab is clamped securely for manual bark removal. The draw knife and pneumatic chisel work in tandem, methodically revealing the hardwood's pale sapwood beneath the dark bark. The artisan runs a gloved hand along the live edge, checking for soft sapwood or rot. The gantry crane lowers the heavy slab onto the stack, as workers place drying sticks to create essential air gaps for seasoning. The forklift's tines slide under the stack. The mast tilts back, lifting the multi-ton payload. The technician inputs precise drying parameters, as the system confirms rising temperature targets and humidity extraction rates.
Inside the sealed kiln, high-velocity fans spin up, creating a windstorm.
The pins drive deep into the bone-dry wood, instantly reading 8.5% moisture. The gantry crane lifts the kiln-dried slab, now lighter and warped, and lowers it with precision onto the steel conveyor. The warped slab is fed into the CNC surfacer, where its surface will be precisely machined. The laser grid rapidly scans the wood's warped surface, digitally mapping its high and low points before cutting begins. The cutter head engages. Its carbide inserts, violently spray of chips, is instantly extracted. The cutter head completes its final pass, revealing the slab's pristine, vibrant grain. The slab is clamped, lifted, and rotated 180 degrees to expose its rough, untouched bottom surface. The CNC machine's cutter head lowers to engage the flipped slab's rough bottom. The CNC machine powers down, and the dust hood lifts away, revealing the precisely flattened slab. The hoist transports the heavy slab to the detailing station, where it's clamped for edge refinement. The clean worker powers on the tool, carefully tracing the wood's natural contours to remove the cambium layer and smooth splinters. High-pressure air blasts the dust from the wood's crevices, where it's instantly captured by the downdraft vent. The inspector marks the natural crack for reinforcement. A precise template is placed to guide the structural repair. A plunge router carves a precise butterfly pocket directly across the wood's natural crack, ejecting a stream of fine shaving, ensuring a perfect fit for the wooden insert. The key is coated in yellow glue and placed into the pocket. Carefully measure the 2-part epoxy into the bucket. Then, slowly fold the mixture to avoid air bubbles. The clear, self-leveling epoxy is carefully poured, flowing into the wood's natural voids and knots. Left undisturbed, the liquid epoxy undergoes a 24-hour transformation, slowly hardening into a solid glass-like state. The fully cured wooden slab is fed into the wide belt sander, where a massive abrasive belt aggressively grinds the inlaid keys. The surface is now incredibly smooth, perfectly level, and uniform across the bow tie joints are perfectly flush. The professional worker guides them precise figure-8 patterns, smoothing the wood grain while the dust extraction hose captures every particle. The integrated vacuum system instantly removes dust, keeping the flawless surface visible. Using a finer 180 grit disc, the worker repeats the sanding process, moving the tool at a smoother, faster pace. A skilled builder meticulously refines the organic curves of this massive live-edge slab. The worker's hand glides across the flawless wood, sensing its perfect grain and epoxy integration. The team unleashes compressed air, blasting hidden dust from the wood's pores. sweeping end to end to lift any remaining dust and enhances the grain's appearance. This creates the essential alignment on the cart's pedicle gap for spraying the edges. The massive wooden slab is pushed into the positive pressure spray booth, where clean, sterile air ensures a flawless finish. Pulling the straps tight for a secure the spray gun, ready for operation. The technician pours the sealer primer into the spray gun's cup. Then, a quick burst to calibrate the fan pattern. The HVLP gun applies a clear sealer, instantly transforming the pale wood into a vibrant, wet amber. With the edges sealed and wet, the team gathers to flip the massive slab, exposing its pristine, dry top face. The technician applies the sealer and fluid passes, revealing the intricate knots and inlays against the rich, wet grain. The highly reflective liquid sealer coat slowly shrinks and cures, turning into a completely dull, dry, matte film. The worker uses a fine sanding sponge, following the grain to prepare the surface, revealing the clean amber wood beneath. The technician applies the final protective layer in heavy overlapping passes, instantly creating a flawless glass-like barrier over the wood. The top coat hits the surface and levels into a smooth pool. Trapped air bubbles rise and pop, leaving a flawless glass-like reflection. The wet table is moved into a controlled drying room, isolated from dust. The fully cured glossy slab is hoisted and transported to the final assembly blanket, settling without a scratch. A depth collar ensures the pilot hole is precise, without piercing the finished top. The threaded insert rotates forcefully downward, synchronous biting deeply to provide a strong, permanent metal anchor. Coordinating their effort, the builders carefully, they align the mounting holes precisely over the brass inserts. The tool torques the heavy bolts, compressing the washers for maximum clamping tightness. The inspector performs a final, strict evaluation, wiping the flawless surface to detect any microscopic imperfection. Following a successful inspection, the clean assembly workers immediately drape a massive, thick sheet. On the assembly floor, workers slide a corrugated sheet under the foam wrap table, beginning to construct its shipping carton. The tool tensions the strap, then uses friction heat to create a strong, welded seal, securing the package. The worker repeats the automated strapping process. The carton awaits its label, printed with precision. A clean builder applies it firmly, completing the process. A smooth renite at the multi-ton box, lifting it easily and driving it away from the brightly lit finishing area. The forklift smoothly lifts the package 20 feet, sliding it perfectly into the racking. The manager confirms the order digitally, and the forklift immediately retrieves the goods. The forklift carries the box tables from the shadowed aisle into the sunlit loading dock, placing them precisely on the waiting export pallet. The forklift lowers the load, compressing under the weight. Workers align the massive boxes, ensuring stability. The automated system rapidly encases the pallet in layers of tensioned plastic film, ensuring a secure and stable load.
The massive dock forklift positions its tines, lifts the multi-ton pallet, and drives it into the dark shipping container.
The load is secured against the wall. Workers immediately throw and ratchet the straps tight. The massive saw powers down, its blade slowing to a halt after processing dozens of giant logs, preparing for a critical tooling change. With practiced precision, the builders unlatch the massive steel doors, revealing the heart of the machine. The builders release the tension, and the blade immediately goes slack. They carefully walk the heavy loop off the wheels. Two skilled workers hoist the massive steel loop, carefully transporting it across the factory floor to the maintenance bay. The workers carefully thread the dull steel blade through the machine's guide rollers, then lock it firmly into the clamping vise. The technician programs the machine. The grinding wheel lowers with inspect the blade. The gauges needle staffully as the technician measures each tooth for perfect calibration. The workers retrieve a sharpened blade, uncoil it with a snap, and carefully thread it onto the massive wheels.
Steady now.
The hydraulic system engages, pulling the blade to extreme tension. The safety doors are secured. The operator activates the blade, which spins up to a terrifying speed. Dark wood log, with its vibrant blood-red core, is dropped onto the automated carriage. The sharp teeth rip through the dense wood, smoothly slicing a vibrant deep red slab with a precise finish. In this vast hall, an endless inventory of raw timber flows continuously through a complex. A line of rough timber is fed into a colossal enclosed planer, where massive cutting heads roar behind steel doors. The dual cutter heads spin at thousands of RPM, violently shaving in a single bladed, perfectly calibrated pass. Uniform wooden slabs emerge from the double planer, gliding seamlessly onto the conveyor and directly into the wide belt sander. The machine uses 3 belts, coarse, medium, and fine. In seconds, the wood transforms from rough to flawlessly smooth. The robotic arm tracks the slab, plunging its router bit into the natural cracks to carve The optical scanner maps the wood's voids, and the robotic nozzle precisely injects resin into the knots without halting production. The wet resin is instantly hardened into solid plastic by the intense UV light as the slabs move through the tunnel. The slabs emerge from the UV tunnel, their hardened resin ready for the belt sander to level the surface before entering the finishing chamber. The wet slabs are seamlessly lifted by the vertical elevator, stacking vertically in the intense heat to maximize drying efficiency.
At the final outfeed line, Flawless and Prexing seals their precision-crafted journey.
The crane lowers the steel bundle onto the feed table, where it settles with a resonant clank. Inside the machine, a carbide blade slices flawlessly through solid steel into the jig. The robotic arm executes a flawless, high-speed MIG weld, its precision transforming raw steel through intense heat and light. The robotic arm retracts, ejecting the completed frame. The precision of its uniform weld is evident in the iridescent heat zones. The automated grinder quickly removes sharp edges and weld spatter, while the downdraft vent captures the sparks. Hundreds of raw steel frames glide on an overhead conveyor into a sterile, brilliantly lit powder coating booth. Electrically charged powder blasts from automated guns, magnetically adhering to every surface of the moving steel frame. The selected box is transported from the warehouse into the pristine studio, where it is lowered gently into place. A stunning live-edge exotic table is revealed, its deep red grain and epoxy finish gleaming intensely under the lights. The flawless steel legs are meticulously aligned with the golden inserts. The gloved hands then smoothly thread the bolts into the hardware. With synchronized precision, the team lifts and flips. The truss lowers, positioning the lights to perfectly illuminate the table's deep grain and flawless finish. It captures the intricate beauty of the wood epoxy. The shutter fires, securing the perfect macro image. The team rapidly disassembles the table, then meticulously repacks the exotic slab in protective foam.
A hot melt glue applicator then permanently seals the flaps, ensuring a tamper-proof delivery.
This massive logistics yard operates with relentless efficiency, exporting goods on a global scale. The operator's precise scans instantly update the global digital manifest, ensuring flawless logistics. The forklift pushes the final crates tight against the rear doors. Workers then install steel cargo bars, locking the entire load securely in place. With the cargo secured, the workers slam the doors shut, sealing the crates inside. The colossal reach stacker drives up and clamps on with precision. The reach stacker lowers the container onto the truck chassis. A convoy of heavy trucks departs the Korean facility, accelerating in perfect unison onto the industrial highway. A forklift aggressively extracts a massive log from a container, showcasing the raw power of industrial timber processing.